In the heart of Ogun State, where the nights were cloaked in an eerie stillness, a young girl named Joy found herself retracing memories drenched in sorrow and love. It had been 3 long years since she lost her mother, a loss that echoed in her heart like a haunting melody. The burial, conducted behind the old church, was a somber affair marked by white cloth, whispered prayers, and the glistening of tears that fell freely from the eyes of relatives and friends. They said her mother was finally at rest, yet for Joy, her grief was an uninvited guest that lingered long after the last shovel of dirt had settled. Now, at 19, Joy returned to her childhood home for Christmas, her heart heavy with the weight of memories. She had left Lagos, the city pulsing with life and noise, to spend the holidays with her aunt in the quiet town where shadows felt alive under the moonlight. That night, however, was more silent than usual, the kind of silence that wrapped around her like a cold blanket. No generator hummed to life. No radio filled the air with music. Only the distant chirping of insects and the gentle rustle of wind against the zinc roof created a soundscape of solitude. As the clock struck 12:47 a.m., a sound pierced through the darkness, pulling Joy from the depths of her musings. "Joy, open the door," it beckoned, a voice so achingly familiar that her heart nearly stopped. It was her mother's voice, soft, warm, and loving, the very voice that had once called her for evening prayers. "Joy, it's cold outside," the voice continued, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. But as she sat up, a shiver clawed at her spine, an unsettling reminder of her aunt's warnings. If a dead person calls your name at night, never answer. Her heart raced as knocking echoed through the stillness. Slow and deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. "Joy, my daughter, why are you afraid?" The sweetness of her mother's tone melted into a pool of dread. Tears brimmed in Joy's eyes as she pressed her hand over her mouth, stifling the urge to respond. Then the voice twisted, morphing into something darker, more sinister. "Open this door now!" it roared, the door handle trembling violently, as if possessed by a force beyond comprehension. Just then, her aunt burst into the room, wielding a Bible in one hand and a small bottle of palm oil in the other, her face pale and drawn with fear. "Don't look at the door," she whispered urgently. "Whatever you hear, don't answer." The knocking ceased, plunging the room into an unsettling silence that felt heavier than the oppressive darkness outside. The only sound that followed was the slow, deliberate retreat of footsteps, echoing softly as they moved away from the door, leaving an unsettling void in their wake. Morning broke with a hesitant light, revealing a world that felt altered as if the night had woven a spell over it. When they ventured outside, Joy and her aunt discovered something chilling. Bare footprints imprinted in the earth, but curiously, they faced towards the house, not away as one would expect. Beside the footprints lay a piece of white burial cloth, stained with the red earth of the land. A shudder ran through Joy as she realized the implications. The voice that had called her was not merely a whisper from the past, but something darker, something that wore the visage of her mother, yet was far from human. Till this day, her aunt continued to warn the townsfolk, her voice thick with caution. Not every voice that sounds like your mother is human. And in the chilling silence of that small town, Joy learned that sometimes the past is better left undisturbed, held tightly in the embrace of memories, rather than beckoned into the light.